wasn't going to post this week, but then I realized, you know what? I made a promise. I committed myself to post every week, so I'm going to do it. This is probably not going to even be a great vlog episode, but it's okay. We've been averaging 50 to 100 views each episode. So to the people who are watching it, I appreciate it. But first off, check out this fade. Man bun's looking good. I mean, at this point, I have to post this week because y'all need to know what the hair is looking like. Y'all need to know. Is the bun looking good? Is the fade fresh and clean? It is fresh and clean. Man, guys, it's the last 10 days of Ramadan. It's March 20th. I'm tired. I'm really tired. I've been feeling a lot of, mental fatigue. But I just want to share this with you guys. My mom, growing up, my mom and dad were very great. It was my older brother. My older brother was very abusive growing up as a kid, and he's just been okay. Basically, Spark noted he was very abusive as a kid. Later on, we found out he's schizophrenic, but he was abusive, physically, verbal, all sorts. And then, as he grew older, he just became an alcoholic, drugs, meth. I think it's like heroin and then meth. I think it's like meth and fentanyl. But basically, the reason why I'm sharing this is because the past 3 years ago, we sent him to Yemen because there was only so much damage he could do in Yemen. And then I was recently told, not recently told, a couple months ago, I learned that he came back to America. They let him back. And now he's at the house. And I'm going to go to Dallas. I'll be headlining April 4th, Dallas Comedy Club. April 4th, 2 shows. Please come check it out. And he's going to be home. I feel kind of off. I've been doing a lot of therapy and mental health, stuff like that. Keep trying Wi-Fi. No. Let me I'll just erase it. But yeah, I've been doing a lot of, praying. I've been going to I go to group therapy. I got my friend, Sarah Lawrence, shout out to her. She recommended me with her therapist. And this therapist is pretty great. And I've been just acknowledging a lot of mental health and trying to connect with my inner child. And I know therapy is working because I wanted to share this with you guys. A couple days ago, I was, I'm fasting, I'm driving, and I was just, from working out in the morning to driving and getting work done, the whole time I had this like anger and resentment just here. I was feeling it right here in my chest. And sometimes when I'm like angry and angry and feeling resentment, I go to this fantasy land. I fantasize so much. One is because my brother and we shared a room, and because he was so like abusive and stuff, as a kid, I would always fantasize about things, and so fantasy was always like for me, was like an escapism from the reality of what I was living in. And I still, to this day, I think is it a defect? Yes, but also like it's my superpower. That's my fantasy, and also helps unlocks my creativity. That's how when I think of a joke, immediately write it down, or when I see a sketch, I can envision it in my head and I can see how it looks. Sometimes I have trouble executing it, but when I see something, I can envision it pretty well. And then yeah, so I was feeling a lot of this resentment, anger, and a lot of it was coming from, and I kept thinking about my older brother. And for the first time, guys, as a 31-year-old man, I communicated my feelings to my mom. Thank you. Thank you. I was like feeling a lot of anger, and I was just like, you know what? For so many years, I just sent her a voice message. I like grabbed my phone, sent her first I called her, she didn't answer, so I sent her a voice message. I was like, Mama, like I'm feeling a lot of resentment, anger. Mustafa was supposed to be my older brother, and all he ever did was bring me pain. And I do have a lot of resentment because I always felt like growing up my whole life that you and Baba loved him more than me, no matter how much I did to try to get y'all's validation. Now, this is how I felt at the time, looking back, of course, like I to this, even at that moment, if you say were your parents great, yes, they were. My mom and dad are awesome. I loved them to death, and my dad, Allah yarhamu, may he rest in peace, was a great dad. He, he's a human. He's not perfect, but he was a great dad. And then, um, yeah, and I just sent it, and I was like, I was literally thinking of just undo sending, because for so long, like, because my older brother always had issues, uh, just in the house, like I felt like I had to play like not the golden child, but like the good kid. I was pretty much like the good kid, the golden child, up until 22 when I started comedy. I really was like, I did everything just by the book for my parents. Like I was on the AB honor roll. I was making good grades. I got in this, a good school. I got my accounting degree, got a good job right after. In between while I was in high school, you're looking at, I was speaking for Ramadan speech contest, so I was always speaking, and I remember like this one musalla, like a small little mosque that we used to go to after we prayed Taraweeh, after 8 rak'ahs, someone would go speak, and I was one of those speakers to get up and talk about being a Muslim youth. So I was like in it, dude. I was in it. And then, yeah, when I was like 22, 23, I was like, Mom, Dad, I'm gonna be a comedian, and that's when the image of being a golden child went away. But yeah, so I sent the voice message, and then a couple hours go by, and all of a sudden I get a phone call from my mom, but I missed it because I was in a meeting, and then I get like a 5 minute voice message from her, and uh, it's not like nothing bad. My mom was great. The voice message basically was just saying like, Ahmed, like, one day you're gonna have kids and you're gonna understand what I go through or what I've been going through. Um, she kept saying like Mustafa Marid, like Mustafa's sick, which is true, And she brought up a hadith. When I say the hadith, basically like there's the Quran, and then there's like other, I would say like six, maybe seven, like Islamic books. They're known as hadith. So basically sayings of what the Prophet would say, or what the Prophet would do, pretty much. And she would. One of the books is called Bukhaira, I think. Bukhari, and another one is called Muslim, but they're like a couple other hadith books. And my mom was like telling me one hadith, and she was saying, the mother loves the child most, the one who is sick and needs to be, brought back to health, the one who's hungry needs to be fed, and the one who's traveling needs and waiting for the child to come back. And that's the child she loves most. My mom she had 6 kids. She tried to be the best mother she could be. I was dependable. She could depend on me. So I think looking back, because she depended on me so much, I didn't feel like I was given permission to be vulnerable or be sensitive or be whatever. And when I was a kid, I was a sensitive kid. So when I cried, oh my God, I would get ridiculed by my brothers and my friends calling me a crybaby. So I just like learned right at a young age to just hide my emotion and not be vulnerable. So, um, yeah, so she sends me this. She says the hadith, and then she was just like, Mustafa's sick. I don't know. Like, I'm trying to figure. She's just a mom with a schizophrenic son, in the reality. And then she said, and she was just like, I'm also worried for you. She goes, I know you're really, she goes, you are funny. I truly believe you're funny. But I just get worried that you're in a place with fitna. Well, basically, she's just afraid that I'm at a comedy club at nightclubs surrounded by people with alcohol, and I'm sitting there making them laugh. But she's just worried about that environment, which is like any other mom would be worried about that environment. And then she goes, and this is the moment, guys, when I started like getting emotional. She was just like, I do love you. And I'm excited for you to come home in 2 weeks. I made you your favorite dishes, and she started listing all my favorite dishes that she makes. And at that point, I didn't cry, but I had like that and like two tears like came down, and I was like, she does love me. It's so stupid because it is like cliche where like a man is just trying to have a mom, but it's really not. I mean, I don't want to sound cliche, but it kind of does sound like that guy that just wants a better relationship with his mom. Um, because that is a certain trope where men just have daddy issues or mommy issues. I don't think I do, but low key I do. No, I have older brother issues. That's like my main core. But yeah, that's something I just wanted to share with y'all. Another weekly point. You know, me and my brothers, we send my mom money every month, and honestly, because of inflation, things have been so expensive. And I picked up Lyft and Uber. I did a couple ride shares this week. I'm still waiting on my background check to clear for Uber, but my background check cleared for Lyft, and I picked up a couple rides. It's not that much money, but all the money I'm gonna make, I'm just gonna send it to my mom. Um, and fortunately, like I picked up some hiking and tours and biking tours. So tourism's picking up again now that spring break is here. Um, and then I have two shows in April, so inshallah, like we'll sell those two shows out, and then financially I'll be good. And then I'll be in Australia first 2 weeks of May, and we negotiated pretty well. I don't want to tell you exact amount because I don't want someone who did that who's also one of the other comedians who did the gig. So I don't want to share, but I'm getting paid decent money, alhamdulillah, because people don't really know how much, like, what's the financial, like, what's the business like in comedy. Don't understand it, but I'll probably do that next week. I'm gonna write that down. Next week I'll talk about the business of comedy. Dude, this is how expensive things have gotten in LA. uh, I usually I gotta go pick up my car soon, and because I took it in for an oil change. Since I got the car at the dealership, for the longest time they had this deal, this promotion where you pay $250 for 5 oil changes. Not bad. You pay 250 up front, and then the next 4 oil changes is free. You go in, get an oil change for free. It's so useful, right? Today, take my car in. Hey, would like oil change? Yeah, sure. Hey, do I still have any oil changes left? Like, no, you got to do a re-up. I was like, cool. They go, oh, we changed it. It's $229 for 3 oil changes, or $350 for 5 oil changes. I was like, what? And then I was like, are you serious? He's like, bro, it's inflation. Like, I was like, what do you mean? And I had to renew my car insurance, 6 months premium, liability. So it's like the low, just liability insurance, 600, no, $950. Yeah. Tires, I had to renew some of the tires too on my car. We out here. It takes money to make money. Um, yeah, things are just expensive. But I'm definitely going to talk about the business of comedy next week so y'all could learn about, so I could tell you what the business is like. Now that I'm in LA, like you could get spots around the city, but you don't make that much money just doing spots. But um, I plan on doing a little seminar for comedians in LA who want to tour without having an agent or a manager. I'm just gonna call it how to tour the world without an agent or a manager. And then I'm gonna put in description. This is not a comedy course. I'm not gonna teach you. I'm not going to teach you how to write a joke. I'm gonna teach you 3 things, or just talk about 3 things, which is how to build a following. How to build the right kind of following, right? 2 is how to turn your followers into fans, and 3 is how to tour around the world and be a tour, how to be a touring comedian without an agent or manager. Because that is knowledge that I have. Am I a big name yet? No. But the ticket sales will come. I know it will. That's why I'm just here in LA, just doing my sketches, building my new hour, working on my new hour. I've been writing more. And also just taking the time to just focus on myself with Ramadan. I mean, Just like the story I just mentioned earlier, just proves that like I'm doing a lot of inner work and taking a mental health break, and it's been helping. This is how I know it's been helping. Look at this. My alopecia's gone. If you look at my past videos, you'll see like bald spots here, but the alopecia's finally like, you know, I don't know, I'm not go away, but like my hair is coming back. I don't know what else to say. But yeah, man, this is a good way to end it. Please comment, like, subscribe. I'm glad I forced myself to do this vlog. We're staying consistent here. We're doing the damn thing. And shout out to the breadheads and breadcrumbs who are subscribing to my YouTube. It means a lot. All right. Thank you guys so much. Have a great week.